back on the Jsano19 server, and we're picking up right where we left off from the last episode. And we're going to cave. Or at least a little bit. Maybe this will be a mini episode, depending on how small these caves are. Since it's the same day, I don't have much to talk about. I could ramble on more about my financial situation, but depending on when this episode comes out, if it does, maybe it'll be an extras clip. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, it all depends on the size of this cave. So in this episode, I do have something that I want to talk about. Something that, I wasn't sure if I wanted to at first. But, I think if I say it in the right way, I can talk about it properly. I'm gonna grab my logs here now that I've planted the saplings and they're growing quite nicely. I will descend back into the cave. But yeah, the thing I wanted to talk about is depression. Not because I don't have it. I'm actually a part of a small group of friends. There are 4 of us. And out of the 4 of us, I am the only one that does not suffer from any type of depression whatsoever. It's kind of an interesting situation to be in. Because, I know next to nothing about it. And I'm actually learning quite a bit. You think you know about it until you experience it, I guess, secondhand in this case. But, I'll fight my way out of here. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's run through here. A couple other cavey type spots. Here we go. This doesn't look like much. It looks like more than I thought it was. Great. Now we're stuck in combat. Yeah, so one of my friends, I don't know what kind of depression she has, but she's gone through the whole gamut of therapy and medication and is currently able to handle it in a way that helps her out the best. Another friend of mine has bipolar depression, which means 1 minute you're fine, the next minute you hit that low point. And he's actually doing a lot better as well, because he's just gone through the whole therapy thing as well, and he's even an intern for his own therapist, so that's pretty cool. I think that's a pretty neat way to get into such a thing through, I guess, first-hand experience. And the third person has potentially manic depression. It's unofficial because he has not gone just yet, although there is progress made towards that already because of a lot of things. But it was an interesting situation with him because he was in a position where he's, I guess, a very independent character, and I almost looked at him. He's a pretty independent character, and doesn't really ever feel like that he, I guess, he doesn't want help. Like, half the time he doesn't want help because he can do it himself. take care of himself and fix it himself and whatnot, or at least that's what he wants to do. The other half of the time, he's hit that depression, and it was an interesting thing to experience because with the way his depression worked is that there were certain conditions and triggers that sparked the beginning of such things. Like, you kind of tell the things that could happen to lead him into this depression. Like, having a really good time threw him off balance in a way. It's like having a sugar rush and then crashing. In terms of energy, he had a similar thing happen in terms of emotions, where anytime he had a really good day, it would end up with that. And then it started. Apparently it was pretty infrequent at the beginning of it, to the point where I didn't really realize anything that was going on at the time, although apparently the others knew because he felt comfortable talking to them about it because they already deal with depression, so it's easier for them to handle, or easier for him to talk to them about it, and they know just what to say and things like that. I, on the other hand, don't experience it at all, so I had no idea what was going on at first, but eventually I was clued into it. It's a pretty crazy ravine here. I didn't know there was this much cave system underneath me, but it's good to know. So yeah, it was a interesting thing to find out. And so yeah, we tried to get him to try to push him to get some actual help, but he kept wanting to try to deal with it on his own half the time. The other half of the time he was depressed and in the why bother state of mind. So it ended up being a bit of an issue there, where we kept trying to bug him about it, and he wouldn't do it. He kept saying things to make everybody feel better, or making up an excuse, or just downright saying that he didn't want to because he was in that mood. And the depression mood kind of became more frequent. It started out as like an occasional thing where it was just a trigger that kicked it off, and eventually became something more of a every other day occurrence, that it would just kind of happen. And very few of his friends knew, and his parents didn't know at all. His parents didn't even know about us as his friends because he didn't want to. Oh, well, I'm way down here. Because, yeah, I guess he didn't really want the word to get out and such. Oh, and now now I'm in a creeper's face. Hello. Deal with this mess for a second here. I hate how the lighting's not updating the way it should. I hope that fixes in the future. Hi. Missed there. Creeper's pathing system is like very limited. You notice, stop like right at the corner. I'm loaded on gold, or not gold, coal. Let's do this. I hear a lot of mobs over in that ravine. But yeah, he He didn't tell many people because he didn't want anyone to know. He kind of has the same issue that I have, in that I'm independent to the point of a fault where I don't want anybody's help, because if I need help with something, that means that in my mind I have failed to do it myself, especially when it's a problem that I'm trying to solve. And that kind of problem could be just something simple like, how do I carry all this stuff? And I want to figure out how to carry all this stuff on my own, but I don't want anyone else to help me, because if they help me, that means I was unsuccessful in my attempts to carry these things on my own. So I kind of feel like a bit of a failure in that point. Not a complete failure, as in I don't feel like that I can't do anything, but enough of one to not be comfortable with letting people help me with things like that. And he's kind of the same way, which meant that he didn't really want many people to know, because then he would get help, but he wouldn't be able to help himself. Like, he failed at trying to help himself, basically. Even though this is kind of more of a dire situation and shouldn't be something that you try to handle on your own. You should definitely get all the help you can. And yeah, it was interesting. It got to the point where there was a lot of bickering and stuff, and eventually my friend who's actually interning in therapy was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna tell his parents, because he was the only one out of all of us that actually, I guess, met his family after a while. Back when I went to Massachusetts to visit everybody, I guess he went over and met the folks and hung out with them all, and so he was able to send them a letter or an email of sorts, and was able to tell them what was going on. And it was definitely the best thing anybody could do at that point, because before then it felt like nothing was going to get done. Like, he was just going to continue to get worse, and yeah, nothing would happen. You would just get worse until there was a breaking point. But because my therapy intern friend decided to take matters into his own hands, and we finally got the ball rolling, and we can safely say that he is on the path to getting help, because now his parents know, and his parents are obviously going to do anything to help him out. And as much as he hates that, it is the right thing to do, and him hating that is probably just a byproduct of the stuff going on in his head, maybe. But it's good to see that kind of progress made, and it's one of those feel-good stories, I guess. But yeah, it was an interesting ride, because me being the only guy in the group who doesn't have depression or any, like, I don't have depression, I don't have anxiety issues. I'm really introverted to the point where it does affect things. Like, I don't do any of the I don't work on the line at work, like, I don't cook anything. I just stay on dish because I can't handle being in a group like that in such a small place. I'm not, like, claustrophobic. I'm not afraid of being in a small group. I'm just not comfortable with being in a small group like that. It just stresses me out. So, we'll go back. Let's say it really loud and happy, like... So yeah, it was an interesting experience and a big learning experience. The biggest problem I had was that I didn't really know how to handle it like everybody else knew how to handle it. They were, besides the whole you should go to therapy thing, there's like something, you know, I felt like I needed to do something to help hold him over until then, in case he actually went and did it himself, which he did not. But, you know, everybody else kind of had an idea of how it worked and had ideas of how to handle it. And I did not. So I kind of sat back and I guess listened to everyone else and tried to use my amazing powers of observance to learn from this experience. So I think I've learned a fair bit from it all. Oh yeah, I released my UHC highlights video, so... By the way, oh, I'm caps locked again. By the way, did you get your things back? Yeah, Mixon died in the Nether due to some lag stuff, and I was nearby, so I salvaged his stuff in a chest and gave him some extra bits that he hopefully found. Put it all in a chest, and yep, I bought him some books because he lost a lot of stuff, minus like a couple things. So I gave him some diamonds and bought some gear for him from Muckluck's library. So you can kind of say Muckluck had a part in that. But yeah, it was a huge learning experience for me, at the very least. Okay. Be funny if I just went and died in lava right there. And no problem. Because, like, the best I can do in a situation like that is, for the most part, you know, I'm not good at talking, obviously. You can tell by my videos, but I'm not good at holding a conversation very well because I don't always like the things other people like, and they don't always like the things I like. So when I hear people talk about stuff that I don't really know or care about, the most I can do is just listen. And I like listening because I learn a lot about it. I gain some experience from it in a way. But then when I try to talk about something, I kind of feel like I don't hold people's interests as much as they may hold mine. Especially when I get passionate about something. Like, I'm a weather nut, and to everybody else, talking about the weather is like the last resort conversation because it's, you know, it's something that's always happening, and it's that cliche, I guess, icebreaker type thing to talk about. You know, people don't just, normal people don't just talk about the weather like it's something special. But I am quite fascinated with weather, so I like to talk about it, especially in terms of like tornadoes and hurricanes. So when I come across someone else, so if somebody brings it up, you know, I kind of get excited about it and would like to talk about it a lot, but because I know weather is not a big topic for everybody else, it's something that I just kind of hold back on. I mention it a little bit and don't bring it up much more after that. And I do that with other things too, when I realize that I'm talking about something that I like that other people might not really know anything about or care about. So in this situation, I just didn't know anything about it, depression and all that, so the best I could do was listen and, for my friend's sake, provide a casual conversation just to keep him distracted, because that's one of the things he suggested that I do, is just talk about stuff to keep him distracted, keep his mind off of things. Because the big problem was that he had that little voice in his head, you know, telling him that everything's bad and stuff. So I tried to be as much help as I could, but ultimately it took the help of someone else to actually like get the ball rolling, and now whether he likes it or not, he's gonna get the help he needs. So one of the other things that I made sure to do was because as much as the other two really wanted to help, it kind of felt like they were really pestering him about it, and in a way it's like, yeah, maybe you should, because otherwise nothing's gonna get done. But another part of me was like, you know, maybe we could like cool it with all this, because it's not exactly going to help. And so in terms of that, I never really tried to bring up the fact that he really needs to like get some help. For the most part, I did my little nods of agreement and stuff whenever anybody else talked about it, to kind of show that I was in the same camp as them. I just didn't want to be another annoying voice talking about it. I apparently killed this guy's friend here. My bow skills, they're not good. Another one. Oh, well, now you got that to worry about. He was still trying to go after me after all that. He did not have his priorities in line. I was not the dangerous one here. He just made me the dangerous one. Alright, that's not good. I like how I just turned around and backed up to him. Okay, they're dealing with each other. Just grab this iron in the meantime. Oh. But yeah, interesting experience. Learned a lot. Didn't really know what to do at times. And ultimately did the best that I could in the situation. So hopefully at this point everything goes well for him, and that he ultimately gets better. It's interesting how depression kind of takes over like that. And I've seen people in the past, I've had 2 experiences in the past that dealt with, I don't know if it was true depression or not, but it dealt with people who were really down on their luck for one reason or another, and more in terms of the suicidal side of things. And first time was this friend that I had in in England, and he he told me he was going to kill himself on like 3 different occasions, and each time I had a different reaction to it. Like the first time he did it was like the first time I ever dealt with such a thing like this. So I was understandably surprised and concerned. And ultimately he did not do it. He said he was going to and didn't. I gave him pretty much every reason why he shouldn't and did all the, you know, stuff like that. The second time... Ooh, that was close. The second time he did this, I had more of a... I wasn't as concerned, I guess. Oh God, I don't know where that zombie is. Alright, stop, guy. Listen, there's a problem just around the corner from me. Here he comes. Is he on the way? He's like right above me or something. I'm gonna break one of these and he's gonna drop right in, isn't he? I guess not. But yeah, the second time he did it, I was just like, dude, don't, it's stupid. And things like that. And he didn't do it. I don't know if it was because of my influence or what, but ultimately he did not do it. And then the third time, he said he was going to do it for real, for realsies this time. And I was just like, okay. Like, I was kind of annoyed with the whole thing at that point. Not much help, but from what I've learned about people who claim to be suicidal is that if you're really going to, I guess, kill yourself, you wouldn't tell anybody because then they'd try to stop you. So when you tell somebody that you're going to kill yourself, you're actually just kind of looking for help and for someone to, like, tell you not to. So I definitely did not help in any way by saying, yeah, okay, whatever. But, ultimately, he did not do it. So, he's still around, and apparently doing better. So, oh, hello, you need to die, like right now. Hey, good timing. Give me that. Ooh, I need that too, so. So yeah, I had to deal with that. And then there was another girl who was a lot more understandable because she was dealing with cancer, going through chemo. Apparently chemotherapy is really taxing on you. And she didn't want to deal with it anymore. But ultimately, she also is still around. So, I guess you could call them close calls or whatever, but it was 2 situations where I was just like, eventually I was just like, okay, whatever. And I guess in a way, I called their bluff and was right. But those are kind of completely different scenarios. But those are like my only 2 actual experiences with such a thing. So I am full up on gear, and we are pretty much coming up on 30 minutes, even though I'm not done with this cave. I guess I will call it an episode here. Let's see if we can survive this ravine. At the very least, make it to the other side, and then we'll call it an episode. 2 episodes in one day, huh? I cannot provide any opinions on anything anybody else has said over the past few days, because it seems like this episode is a good one, for the most part. I had to talk about stuff, get a little serious here. Sometimes it's good to get serious. Alright, let's... I'd rather have boots. Especially because my other one's broke. I hear ya. I heard you drop down. I was actually more worried that that might be a creeper that dropped down there. Am I right? More cave. Yep. Kind of. I'll take the iron, I guess. Alright, I guess I can leave now. Or, leave you guys now in the episode off here. I will, hope you guys have enjoyed watching. And, I shall see you all the next time.